Thanks. So, again, hello, everybody. I'm David Blackstein. I'm the co-director of the Worldwide Climate and Justice Education Week, the project of Bard College, and we're delighted to have each of you with us. Since we do have a relatively small group this morning or this evening, this morning for me, today, that I think we'll just begin by um, having everybody briefly introduce themselves, just who they are and where they're from, and maybe something short about their connection with the climate education work. So, Sam, do you want to introduce yourself first, please? You want to unmute and introduce yourself? You have to unmute, Sam. Sam, you need to unmute. There we go.
Okay. Are you getting me now?
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
I'm Cynthia Poklo from Liberia. College, studied disaster and emergency management, and we are having a organization by the name of
You're breaking up a little bit, Sam, but I think, yeah, we got.
One world action against climate change. So we are asking people to vote in our competition.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Yeah, you were breaking up a bit, but Sam is a student in environmental disaster management at Harbel College in Liberia. And we've just started to work with him, and looks like he's had some connection issues here. So Sabrina, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm from the University of Maryland Global Campus, UMBC for short. And I'm a program director here, so I'm always trying to see what else is going on in terms of climate education, because clearly climate education has to be infused into all that we do. And I have both a master's program in environmental management and a bachelor's in environmental health and safety.
Excellent. And Sabrina, I'm actually in College Park, so we could even get together in person. I'm sorry, I'm in Tacoma Park. You're in College Park. Okay. Let's see. Paul, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you're calling in from today?
Okay, thank you very much, David, to give me the floor. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can get me.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Paul Laudry. I'm from Cameroon, but joining from Dubai. Yeah, I'm attending the COP28. So it's a pleasure for me to be here, and I'm the coordinator of African Environmental Network, which is an African network. We are working on environmental issues, mainly climate change, biodiversity, agroforestry, agroecology, and our means of actions. Our means of action are research, project development, training, advocacy, environmental communication, and we in the past we not only in the past, but we used to strengthen the capacity of young people, of young leaders, and as well as the capacity of local authorities on all the environmental issues, not only climate, but climate has what we call the climatic system, which involve of other types of ecosystem. ecosystem. So it's an interrelation. So this is the reason why we don't have only the focus on climate, but it's a kind of nexus. Climate and nexus, climate linked to climate with biodiversity, with also pollution, mismanagement of nutrient, and mismanagement of waste, and all this stuff. So this is the summary on what we are trying to do. So we are trying to contribute to the restoration of the balance that we have lost between the nature and the human being. Yeah. So this is briefly our what we have and what we are trying to do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here, Paul, and we'll give you a chance in a few minutes to give us a report from COP28 as well. Callie, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Callie Lambard. I'm the administrative assistant at the Office of Sustainability at West Chester University in Pennsylvania. So we deal with the university as a whole, but also a lot with students. I think that's where our climate education aspect comes in, working with our student peer educators. So I'm happy to be here today. Thanks.
Well, glad to have you. And why don't we continue the Westchester? And Bradley, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. Yes, I'm Brad Flam. I work with Callie in the Office of Sustainability. We have an active sustainability peer education program, and we are interested in this session and this opportunity to collaborate with our student peer educators.
Excellent. Great. All right. And let's see, who have I missed? Kaka? I might not pronounce that quite right. Kaka, do you want to introduce yourself, please? If you can unmute. Let's, if you're able to unmute and join us, just jump in. But Lynn, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Lynn Hartle. I'm at Penn State, the Brandywine campus. I'm very close to Westchester, Bradley. So I'm delighted to see a colleague from so close. And we are hoping to do something this time. I'm trying to work with some colleagues internationally to do some sessions for the World Climate Education Week. So thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lynn. And actually, I think you missed Callie's introduction, but she's also with Brad at Westchester. So I know you've in the past worked with other universities, so it'd be great to have some sort of a joint effort there. So what we want to do is to do a couple things today. I know some of you we've worked with already with the worldwide teach-in on climate and justice that we've had the last couple of years. Others are new to us, so I want to introduce our project, and then I also want to give Paul a chance to talk about his perspective of COP28, and then we'll just have a chance for everybody to kind of share other information and ask questions. So, Carrie Ann, could you please cue up the introductory video and play that? I think that'll just give people a good sense of, in less than 3 minutes, of what we're about here.
Sure, David. Do you want to move the host back to me for the time being?
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you just made me a co-host, so.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't set this one up for that, which I will do for next time.
Okay, all right. So what do I need to do to make you a co-host?
Go to participant, and then next to my name, there should be like a dot, dot, dot. And if you click
Yep,
that,
yep, I see. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, great. All right, you are now the host.
thank you.
And I'm sorry, Karen, I didn't give you a chance to introduce yourself, so if you can multitask and get the video and introduce yourself,
Sure.
that would be good.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Ann. I use they, them, and I'm the lead communications person on the team. I am stepping in for Tobias if you're used to seeing him in this space. So appreciate your patience as I get used to supporting David on these calls. Yeah, and I've been with the teaching for like 2 years now, so it's exciting to see how far it's come already. Just the short time that I've been with the team. And I'm going to go ahead and show us the video. Please let me know if you can't hear it once I hit play.
Where are you emotionally on climate change? 1 is I never think about. 10 is paralyzing anxiety. Can't sleep at night. Don't want to have kids because their world will be to this topic.
The Worldwide Climate and Justice Education Week is about helping people move from climate despair and disengagement to a mindset of climate repair. This is the education that changes the future. So Climate Week is for everyone. It's for students, faculty, and staff from all subjects, like artists and psychologists, scientists and business majors, students of music, literature, economics, international affairs, healthcare and engineering, you name it.
Join tens of thousands of people around the world in growing climate education. The first week of April, 2024. You're not alone. People on your campus are really worried about climate change. If you step up, others will join you. At your school, you can make climate an event. This means solutions and justice events on your campus. Art, theater, panel discussions, films, faith meetings, music, games, fairs, and displays. Check out our website for examples from all over the world. Engage your whole school.
On top of your events, you can also help to make climate a class. This means encouraging climate-concerned teachers from all subjects, art, history, chemistry, psychology, all subjects, to spend at least half an hour talking about how climate change solutions and justice are relevant to their field of study, how artists, historians, chemists, and mathematicians are all thinking about climate change. We have step-by-step guides on our website to help you make this happen.
Last summer was the hottest in history. Massive fires, heat waves, floods everywhere. We have to stop it from getting hotter every year. You can help organize Climate and Justice Education Week at your school. The biggest threat to our future? Thinking that someone else will lead, that someone else will stop the climate crisis. Now, not next month, not next year. We all need to step up. Join us.
Hi.
All right. All right. Thank you, Carrie Ann. And I think that gives us a sense of what the project is. We, as Carrie Ann in her appearance in the video says that the biggest threat that we see is waiting for other people to lead. And so we thank each of you for being a leader, for stepping up and joining us here, and hopefully joining us in the beginning of April. So just to sort of quickly elaborate on that a bit. So our theory of change is that we believe that all around the world that there are educators who are very concerned, maybe even alarmed about climate change, and would like to do something, and that we are providing a relatively easy entry point for people to get engaged as educators and to respond to the needs and interests of their students who are in many cases really despairing about climate change, despairing about the future, and by um, showing them that we are also concerned and that we are doing things um, to give them encouragement, to help them to turn from despair to a mindset of climate repair. And the idea of trying to get climate education into all types of education is to show people that no matter what their major is, no matter what their interests are, that there are ways to get involved. So, you know, if you're a language major, you can use your language to communicate about climate justice. If you're an engineer, you can use your technical skills. If you're um, a social scientist, that you can look at how people are and aren't responding, and how to motivate people. So there really is room um, for everybody. So what we're trying to do is to reach reach the world. You know, our goal, which of course, you know, we're not going to achieve, but you have to have the biggest goal, is to have participation by every teacher at every institution, every grade level, every subject, all around the world. And so we're inviting you to be part of our effort. As the video said, we have two different components. One is what we call Make Climate an Event, and that's what those of you who've participated in the past have done, to have some sort of a special activity during this first week of April. Or if the first week of April doesn't work for you, then try to, you know, do it sometime within Earth Month. We are working with the Earth Day organization on that, and to make the event something special, something that's interdisciplinary, something that's action oriented, something that engages your students as well as faculty and staff from across the educational institution. So that's what we have been doing for the past couple of years, and with the involvement of some of you, um, we've reached probably 80,000 people directly over the last couple of years, with about 600 events over the 2 years in more than 60 countries around the world. The other flavor, though, is that we recognize that not everybody is going to come to an event. You do get a little bit more of the people who are already engaged than the person who, you know, is maybe interested or curious, but just it's not a priority for them. And so the other approach is to try to reach people where they are, literally much of their school time, which is in class. And so what we're asking is that every educator during this Climate and Justice Education Week, this first week of April, spend at least 30 minutes in their class to talk about how the connection between their subject matter and climate solutions and climate justice. So that, for example, if you're teaching some sort of a quantitative skill, you could show how quantitative approaches are essential to calculating carbon footprint, greenhouse gas emissions, things like that. If you're in dramatic arts, we have 3 short plays that we selected last year from a contest that could be chosen. So just to show people that there are pathways for everybody. And as one of the people who we've been working with said, the way that you could call this is 30 minutes for 2030. The idea that, our mandate from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is to turn around our picture on climate change by 2030. And so, a 30-minute investment is a pretty small ask for people, but the idea is that once they have done it and seen the interest of their students, they're likely to engage with these issues even more in their education. So I will stop here and see if there are questions or comments from anybody, either based on your past experiences working with us or questions about what I've just presented here.
So I just wanted to thank you for, I think, what I'm hearing, which is to amplify what Katharine Hayhoe, an incredible climate communicator, has shared with us for the past decade. That first, when I heard it from Katharine Hayhoe, I thought, you got to be kidding. She said the most important thing you can do about climate is to talk about it. And when I first heard about it like a decade ago, I'm going, huh? Like, why? Isn't it obvious? But of course, it's not obvious to people. We have to socialize the fact that it just says, it's unhealthy to smoke cigarettes. That took, several decades to socialize. We have to socialize the fact that it's fine to talk about climate change. It can be scary, but we can all work together on it. I think sometimes we don't talk about it because it's scary or divisive or anything like that. And trying to hear what other people are thinking about climate. I do a lot of tabling, like you set up a table and you talk about climate change to the public. And I do have a lot of practice in meeting people where they're at. And I think it's really incredible the many reasons people don't want to talk about climate. For a handful of people, they think it means there's more government intervention, right? If they talk about climate. Anyway, so I just wanted to say I appreciate that you're trying to get people to talk about climate and normalize talking about climate and taking action.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Anybody else? I'll do like you do in your classes and call on people if nobody responds. Lynn, do you want to maybe just describe a little bit? You've been working with us for a couple of years. What you and your colleagues at Penn State Brandywine have been doing, and any thoughts about what you're thinking about for this year? Please.
In the past, we have done a number of activities, offerings during that week and combined it with a week we call the Social Justice Week. And we had a number of speakers, students and faculty talk on various issues. Last year, I partnered with Temple, and Temple and I really did a workshop on sort of like, how do you get started with students, and what do you do if you see something that you're interested in, and where do you go, and what resources are available. And it was a relatively smaller project, and some of it was virtual. It was sort of a hybrid. And I thought, for the few students who came, it was very successful. And I worked with their Sustainability Institute at Temple. And so our resources are relatively limited this year, but I have some colleagues in Brazil and Quito, Ecuador, and University of Florida, where I used to teach. And what we're thinking of doing is a virtual exchange, actually over 4 weeks, and have 1 week where they all meet each other virtually and share anything they already know about the UN sustainability goals. Because I teach a class called Civic and Community Engagement. And so I'm going to incorporate this into my class. And it's not going to be the whole class, but just part of the class for 4 weeks. And then for the next week, we're thinking of having panel discussions and having the students, dive more deeply into what they're interested in, what they think they might be able to do, because a lot of students do feel paralyzed. What can I do? It's just a huge issue. And so I talk, usually give them the resources about like the Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World on the UN Sustainability Goals website. There's a really nice handout. And then having them do some readings and post on Google Docs for probably not Google Docs, but maybe Jamboards or something like that the next week about what they're thinking about. And then the final week come together and maybe do some sort of a visual of what they're thinking and then talk about what their next steps. So we're thinking of doing it over 4 weeks, and we're not sure how many will participate, but I've been doing virtual exchanges for a while with my different classes, and I just find they really love talking to people from other countries. Some of my students, believe it or not, we're at Penn State Brandywine, close to Philadelphia. Some of them have never actually gone into the city of Philadelphia. So many of my students, they appreciate this global exchange. And so we're going to have the focus be the UN Sustainability Goals. So I hope that wasn't too much.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. And I think, that's one of the advantages, of trying to do these things together is that we build community and, the idea of having a worldwide week means not just parallel play, but even interaction. In fact, we have 3 people here from different parts of Africa who we've worked with or starting to work with, and I think the idea of exchanges might be very good. Princess, do you want to maybe just say something in terms of Green Growth Africa and the work that you've been doing with us, and any thoughts about sort of connecting in with organizations around the world? If you're able to unmute and join yourself, please join us, Princess.
Yes. Hi, David. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be here today again. So yes, talking about virtual exchanges, I would really love to engage with your students in. We usually do that also with students from different countries, and it would be really great to have your students also join us. So I would drop my email address, on the chat box, so you could always reach out to me. So when you are having the virtual exchange, you can always just give us details, and then we will share it with our teachers. And we believe that they would also be very delighted to attend the virtual exchanges with your students. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Princess. And you've worked primarily with pre-college, but you also have a little bit of interaction with college students. Is that right?
Yes. We also do work with college students and university students also. Although we don't really have much of them, we mainly do, high school, secondary schools. But definitely, if we have an opportunity to work with more universities, we're really glad to do that.
Okay, great. Great. Other thoughts that you want to share or questions, and anybody in terms of participation?
I can share a little bit about our interest. In our Office of Sustainability, we organize a good number of events every semester. And so we're looking to see how we can connect some of the planning we're already making for the spring semester to this initiative. So for example, we have a regular weekly sustainability research and practice seminar, and we'll do our best to identify one of our colleagues who can speak to a topic related to the climate crisis during that first week of April. We also have a sustainability peer educators program who every semester will put together several opportunities for students to meet and talk about key topics. Just a week ago, they held a climate anxiety event that they planned in collaboration with Student Health Services here at Westchester University. And it may make sense for them to do something similar in the first week of April to coordinate with this worldwide effort. So today, Callie and I are here, to learn about the initiative and to think about how some of the work we're already doing can contribute, and perhaps some additional programming that we can think about for that week.
Yeah, that's great. And what I would recommend is, rather than just identify one speaker, would be to identify several faculty members from different disciplines and colleges, and to ask them to speak for a very short period of time, like 5 minutes or so, which I know is hard to get faculty members. It's hard to get them to commit, and then it's hard to get them to shut up once they get going. But just to show the students that, this is not just in the sciences, but this is for everybody here. Yeah, go ahead, Sabrina.
Oh, I just had a question with what Bradley said, because I was wondering if for your climate anxiety booth, if you tied like how taking an action often helps the anxiety, especially taking group action. Is that what you guys did as part of like listening and then suggesting some possible actions and prescription?
Yeah, well, this really was a student-led event. They put it together, but I do know that they did not focus just on anxiety. They focused on positive action that can be taken as students are grappling with those feelings of distress and anxiety. We actually were able to share with them a lot of materials from a recent ASHE workshop entitled "From Climate Anxiety to Action," facilitated by a woman named Catherine Davis from the Portland Public School District. Really helpful materials, and I believe if you're connected to ASHE, you could get access to those materials.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And certainly, we know that one of the best antidotes to anxiety and other negative mental health feelings is to be involved and to get power by showing that you can actually do something. I want to give Paul a chance to, Paul, if you're able to rejoin here. And Paul is one of our colleagues from Africa who's at the COP28, and we're all very interested in finding out what's going on there. And so maybe you could just give us a couple minutes, Paul, in terms of your impressions as an African coming from an NGO perspective on what is and isn't happening at COP28.
Okay, thank you very much, David, to give me the privilege to share my experiences. Actually, this is the 16th day. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Since the beginning of this COP, we have read an agreement, yes, upon loss and damage already. Yeah, what I mean is it was the operationalization of the loss and damage fund. Yeah, so finally, one of the outcomes of the previous COP was the suggestion to have a fund dedicated for loss and damage. And during the SB 58, we didn't agree yet on the operationalization of this fund. So as soon as the COP has started, as soon we read an agreement upon the operationalization of this fund. So we have many pledges from developed countries. Yes, so in terms of millions of USD, and since that the COP is a wide word, and we have many meetings, many side events, and each day we have each specific topics. But within these topics we have many activities, so at times it's quite difficult to follow all the meetings. It's quite difficult to follow all the activities. So on my side, I'm focused on loss and damage issue. I'm focused on the substar work, substar for 58 work, 59 work. I'm focused on disaster risk reduction. I'm focused on greenhouse gas emission or management also. So on time to times, I'm attending side events as panelists, as also as participant, and I already gave the first outcome from the loss and damage topic, which was the operationalization of the fund with many pledges, and we are still waiting for the final draft on the Warsaw International Mechanisms, so on the Santiago network also, because it's good to have a fund, but people on ground have to be capacitated. People on ground have to be educated. People on ground have to be assisted. So we need both financial and technical assistance. So the technical assistance is the aim of the duty of the Santiago network. And since this network is not yet effectively operationalized, it will be difficult to have a great impact on ground, even though we have fun. So this is the importance of education, and as far as our own worldwide climate justice and education week is concerned, we wanted to focus on loss and damage education, because it's among the justice. When we talk about justice, we talk also about loss and damage. And during these ongoing negotiations, the parties recognize the fact that we have to invest more in renewable energy. So we have also pledges on these sectors, and African countries like Kenya, like Nigeria, like Burundi, also agreed and have collected partners and investors in renewable energy, geothermal energy, solar energy, and another type of energy which is promoted here in Dubai is nuclear energy. Yes, so actually this is the updates from the energy sectors. Yesterday, I was at the Substar meeting on item 6, which is related to the research and systematic observation. It was a quite difficult meeting because it was difficult to have a common consensus among parties, and I will let you know that it's true that I'm involved with the NGO, but I'm among the Cameroon delegations. Yes, delegation. So at times I try support or assisting my countries in negotiation. Yeah. So yesterday we finally reached an agreement on a final draft, on the topic of research and systematic observation. And the party recognizes the fact that one of the paragraphs of this draft is the education or strengthening capacities of pupil on ground in the yes, on data collection, data management, specific for the hydrosphere, atmosphere, oceans, tropical forest. Yeah, and this particular item is based on the observation of the ocean, the observation of ocean acidification, the observation of the global health system, or the health system. So the substance recognize have recognized that we have to involve more technically on this issue. Yeah. So these are the updates actually, but I wanted also to share the fact that in the transparency topics, it's quite difficult to reach an agreement because we have first to receive an outcome, the outcomes from the GEF meetings, before having a concrete final draft on transparency, because the transparency depend, but actually the transparency topics depend on the outcomes of a global environmental facility meetings. So globally the negotiations are going good in certain ways, but it is as usually difficult to have a common consensus among parties, and as a citizen from a developing country, the first day was a victorious day for us, because we are the most affected people on the earth. Yeah, and we have many losses and many damages as well. I personally, I was obliged to migrate from the village to the city due to the scarcity of water, and I'm losing my culture, my culture. So the loss of culture is what we used to call non-economic loss and damage. And this and non-economic loss and damage, NELD are also the topic that we have to agree to have to read the decision about NELD as well. Yeah, because it's difficult at times to quantify how can we quantify NELD, how should we address the issue, how should we quantify NELD. So it is quite difficult. So, and this tax is on the behalf of Santiago Network Loss and Damage, Santiago Network Loss and Damage. Actually, this is what I can share with you, but by the end of next week, I'm going also to provide a global report, on each topic I was involved in. So maybe I can stop there, because there is too many outcomes yet, but the town cannot allow us to share all the outcomes So I will stop there, and thank you very much, David, to give me the floor. And we are going also to organize an restitution session, I guess on January next year. And it will be and also a kind of kickoff of our worldwide climate justice education week. Yeah, because we have planned to organize a series of training sessions, a series of webinar also. yes, for this upcoming education and justice, climate education and justice week. So thanks once more, David, to give me the floor, and thanks all to you all for the privilege that I have to present my outcomes in front of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. It's really nice to have that perspective from you, and certainly, you know, the as you said, Paul, Africa is so affected by climate change already, and of course, Africa as a continent commits or contributes about 4% of the greenhouse gas emissions of the planet, or CO2 emissions. Almost all of that comes from South Africa and Nigeria, and the rest of the continent is essentially zero contributions, but is already feeling great impacts. So this issue of a loss and damage um, fund and compensation and technical assistance is really an existential issue for people in the African continent and in other parts of the world where it's, this is why we talk about climate justice, is because it really is a matter of justice. Yeah, go ahead, Paul. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, maybe I just want to share a thought. Since that investment are going to be will increase in the energy sectors, because here at the COP, the parties, as I was saying, they agreed that the African countries need more investment in renewable energy. So
just lost him. But yeah, so the point that some of the investment is coming into renewable energy, and that that's a big need in Africa as elsewhere. So I was going to see if anybody had any questions for Paul. We'll see if he joins us again. But while we're waiting hopefully for Paul to rejoin us. Is there anybody else who just wanted to share in terms of what you're hearing from the COP, and any perspectives that you have about what's going on there in Dubai? He's coming back on. There you go. Welcome back here. Yeah. So Paul, you were just saying in terms of potential for renewable energy projects, and how that might be helpful for, well, we know it's going to be helpful.
Yeah, what I just wanted to suggest is that during our upcoming Worldwide Climate Justice and Education Week classes, we can put a more focus on renewable energy as well. As a young African people being an African, at times it's quite difficult to involve in climate justice at times, because we still need to fill the gap of the Maslow scale. So our first needs have to be filled first. So at times it is quite difficult for young people to be involved in climate justice. So if we show them that why involving in climate justice, you can also have an opportunity to find maybe a job, to find maybe to have an idea to do a startup, because with this COP28 outcomes, it seems that we will need more technical capacities. We will need more specific capacities on energy sectors and other specific sectors also. So maybe we can emphasize at times with with the opportunities, with the financial or social economical opportunities in climate justice, justice. So it's just things that come on my mind actually. So at the end of this idea, the summary of my ideas is that why teaching people on climate justice or why educate people on climate justice, we maybe we can share also a social, economical, or financial opportunities that they can find uh, why why uh, why working on on climate justice on ground. And with this, I guess we will reach at the level that people or young will involve in climate justice. Why they will get things or money to eat in on the ground. Yes. So this is my thoughts. So I just wanted to share it with like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, and I think, this opportunity with technical assistance, renewable energy, providing jobs for young people, these are also, I think, great opportunities for students at universities around the world to be connecting with their counterparts in Africa. And that's one of the things that we can do is to try to, I mean, I saw that there's already some exchange in the chat here in terms of universities and people wanting to share things. So, we will continue to try to facilitate those changes. So, are there any questions or comments for Paul?
Just give my appreciation for his comments. It's helpful to hear from the voice of someone who's there at the COP right now.
Yeah. And thank you, Paul, for taking the time. I'm sure you're super busy there and probably not getting a whole lot of sleep. So I mean, I know it's only, I guess, 6 o'clock for the local time there, but thanks for taking the time to be with us. And Sarah, it looks like you've just joined us. We're just about finished with that, but I'll be happy to stay on with you afterwards and talk. So people are putting their contact into the chat, and I'll just put mine as well, and I'll be happy to serve as an intermediary to connect people if you need that. So any other questions or comments? We're pretty much at the top of the hour, so I don't want to keep people beyond the time that they've allocated. All right. Well, thank you all, and we look forward to working with you. And so Paul just put his email in again, and what we'll do is we will send out a summary. Well, we'll send out a link to the meeting recording, and we'll have another of these conversations at noon Eastern today, so 3 hours from now. So if you want to join us again, you're welcome to. But we'll send the links to both of those, and then I'll also be sure to include the information in the chat for people to follow up with each other. So thank you all for joining us today, and please do think about what you want to be doing, what you're planning to do on the Worldwide Climate and Justice Education Week, and go to our website and please register either your events or Making Climate a Class, just so that we can get you on the map and we can continue to communicate with you. And Sarah Khan, if you want to stay on, we can talk after everybody else leaves. So Karen, you can just make me the host again. So thanks, everybody, and we'll talk with you soon.